The traditional paddle was used in Greenland. Most of the timber that was found was driftwood, so the Inuits made the best use of the technology available, and so they made very long, thin paddles with a very long, narrow blade. So it's like a big, long lollipop, really. This was a paddle that was used not just for fun and recreation. They used these kayaks and these paddles for hunting, for fishing, for transport, in pretty severe conditions off the east and west coast of Greenland. But there's been this revival over the last maybe 10, 15 years where it's gone from being a bit of a joke to being something quite serious. And we're reviving some of these techniques, and people are enjoying it, getting back to basics again. My name's Chris Reed, and I run a little company known as Reed, and it's a kayak brand that produces about 140 styles of kayaking clothing, generally textiles, but we also import and distribute a number of boats, a brand called Rebel, which are very specialist. They're a low volume sea kayak, which is particularly good for Greenland style rolling, so it's almost emulating some of the original Inuit kayaks, which were a wooden framework with skin on the top of them, and they're now reproduced in high-end carbon, Kevlar and composite fabrics, and we make a really beautiful low-volume kayak. And that's what we've been doing this last weekend up at Newbiggin. We've been teaching this Greenland-style rolling, the kind of skills that were traditional from the Inuits and from the Eskimos. I'm kind of an enthusiast for this particular area of the sport, and Tom asked me if I'd come along and run a session on Greenland techniques.
Hi, I'm Tom Thomas. I'm very involved with Onespec Paddle Sports Club. I'm the coaching officer and the event safety officer, and I get involved in lots of things in the region, including Canny Paddlers that put on this event this weekend. So Canny Paddlers is a collection of 4 paddle sports clubs, so Onespec, Coquet, Blythe and Tynemouth, and we're working together to both increase sea kayaking opportunities for paddlers in the northeast, but also to present the northeast as a great place to come and paddle if you live outside the northeast.
The northeast has to offer quite a few different scenes, from beautiful beaches like here, sheltered area, surf beaches and islands. For me, my favorite place to paddle are the Farne Islands, which have something to offer the whole year. I mean, in winter you have seals breeding there, you have tide races. In summer you have birds, thousands of them, seabirds nesting there. For me, it's just paradise.
Sea kayaking in the northeast of England is absolutely fantastic. We don't have great rivers, we don't have great lakes, but we do have an absolutely fantastic coastline. And I'm a bit biased, but I would say that the trip around the Farnes is as good a one-day trip as there is anywhere in the world. The history of sea kayaking in the northeast is really interesting. So for a long time, the most influential sea kayaker in the world was Derek Hutchinson, originally from Gateshead and then South Shields, who did a huge amount to promote sea kayaking across the world, and we're lucky to have that heritage.
So people often think it's all about rolling, Eskimo rolling, and what I wanted to try and do was bring people in at a much less scary level. So we're teaching much more about the forward paddling, the turning, the support strokes and the sculling, some of these areas that are essential to learn before we start to roll. It's a bit like, I try and describe it, a bit like learning to crash a car rather than learning to drive it first. So we tended to spend about 90% of our time learning the techniques, getting to grips with the paddle, learning to extend the grip and get support and get some real skills up with the paddle. And then by the time the paddle's comfortable in your hands, you're using it as your friend, not some kind of survival tool. Then we got wet and we started to roll and brace and get some support out of the water. And I think maybe we had about 18 people on the course, and we had about 5 or 6 of them doing full complete rolls by the end of the course, and most people ended up with some of the support strokes and the balance bracing and some of the sculling for support. So it's been a really good session, but everybody's, I think, realised that this Greenland stick, this funny looking object, is actually quite a useful tool.
The best thing about today was basically getting wet and getting to actually practice with the paddles in the water and doing the practical and getting wet and enjoying playing with the boat.
It was wonderful. The whole 2 days, Friday and Saturday, we've been doing it. People really engaged with the activity. Obviously, they chose to come to do Greenland paddling, so it was a biased audience, but they came and they had a great time. People learnt a lot, and everybody improved, and particularly, although it comes down to something as specific sometimes as rolling or sculling and different things like that, the actual forward paddling of the people just vastly increased, and that is the core of becoming a good paddler, and they excelled at just moving forward better in the boat than they had done at the beginning, which is a huge step in any sport, to do the basics really well.
It's just been a really good session. I've really enjoyed just learning how to use my paddle properly, because I've only actually ever used it once properly before, and that was only about 3 weeks ago, even though I made it 6 years ago. I've just really enjoyed it.
So we come to Newbiggin quite a bit from Blyth, and it's perfect because whatever the weather, you can escape behind the breakwater. Free parking, toilets. It's great to come to Newbiggin.
Well, I live in Devon now, but I was at college in Newcastle in '84, starting in '84 till '88, and I surfed. I was a surfer and enjoyed surfing, and the Northumberland coast is just epic for surfing. So I found that my surfing kind of took over from college a little bit, and I found it really comfortable living up on Sandy Bay Caravan Park near Newbiggin. It was a different kind of town then, I think, but maybe students weren't the most popular kind of people with the locals. But Sandy Bay was a fantastic little place for surfing at the river mouth on the Cammy, and then up to Cresswell to Scars, and then Embleton. So there was some good surf going up and down the coast from here.
Newbiggin's a great spot. It's a town that's had its difficulties with industrial decline, as the whole of southeast Northumberland has. It's experienced those problems, but has seemed to be rising through them. It's a very vibrant little town. It's got plenty of good restaurants, chip shops. I know there are other amusements like pubs, so there's plenty going on here. Beautiful beach, and the bay is very sheltered, and it's a really good place to be. Some lovely cafes and a great atmosphere today and yesterday when we've been out. As a paddling venue, it's a really safe place to do some introductory or experimental stuff, because you've got the breakwaters, you've got good access to the beach, and great big free car park, vans can get in, etc. You've got lots of other places, and if you've got a van, you've got to park half a mile from the sea. So it's a really promising venue to come to and to do some paddling. Historically, the Newbiggin was a fishing village. It's got a really strong history. So the lifeboat station, I think, has the oldest rocket launcher from a lifeboat, so they used to fire rockets out into the sea to help ships in distress. And I think that's the oldest remaining one in the UK. I'm a bit of a one for books. I like to read, and John Brain wrote Room at the Top whilst working in Newbiggin Library as a librarian. It is suspected that he wrote it during work time, but we'll never know the full truth of that. There are still cobles here, the traditional northeastern fishing vessel that goes out, obviously less than in the past.
So it's really good to come back here for a weekend like this and see Newbiggin, and it's completely changed. It's an epic little place here. The bay's fabulous, and that coffee shop in the middle of, what's it called? The Bertarelli's. Bloody beautiful. What a fantastic place that was today. Real surprise how fabulous the place is now.
Before the course I'd really used the Greenland paddles, but since using them I would definitely consider Greenland paddle as an option. It was really surprising how much support they do offer, and how much stability you can get out of them. I've really enjoyed using them. I think the tuition all sort of weekend has been brilliant. All the coaches have explained things really well. Demonstrations on the water, demonstrations on the land, which really helps you to visualise sort of what you're going to be doing. I think it's been absolutely spot on.
The best thing about today's session would have been the best thing about being a member of a club is that it's a great opportunity to try different things. So there were lots of different types of paddles. They're all Greenland paddles, but none of them were the same, and they all behave slightly differently. And so, that's one of the things, being in a club, you get to try lots of different things, and it doesn't cost you anything. Well, it costs you barely nothing.
It's really great to see people learning, so it's not just about taking a trip from one place to somewhere else and back again. It's really important to try and hone your skills and learn stuff as well. And I think the learning curve's been quite steep this weekend. People have taxed their brains as well as their limbs, and come away pretty full. I think full of beans. They've been pretty stoked. I've had a lot of people in the car park getting changed, coming up saying thanks very much. That's been a really good, fun weekend. And I've got to thank them as well, because I'm learning how to coach a bit better as well. I think Tom and myself and a few others have had this debate. I come from Devon, so I've driven nearly 10 hours to get up this way over a day or so, and I wanted to try and give a little bit back as well. So with Linda up in Amble, who was one of the ladies organising it, we baked 20 scones this morning, and I brought up a big dollop of clotted cream and some strawberry jam, and so we set up a table at dinner time, and in the car park everybody got to make themselves a cream tea. And of course, because I'm from Devon, you have to put the cream first and the jam on top. But there was a bit of a debate, almost scraps about how to do it. It's good fun.
Canny Paddlers is a brilliant idea. It's a great collection of local clubs, and I think it offers a chance for us to get together and create something better. I think the North East is ignored. I think the North East is thought of as being quite tame and boring, apart from areas like the Farns, and I think it has a tremendous potential.
So based on this weekend, I think it's been a really successful weekend, from taking people that were probably fundamentally a bit fearful of learning this sort of style of paddling. They've really enjoyed it, and I think there's a good possibility of coming up a bit later on this year to do another session similar, probably the same venue. It's a perfect venue for this kind of thing. Certainly next year Tom is organising a sea kayaking event for probably 80 to 100 people, and this is going to be a bit further up in Northumberland, and we'll like to do the same kind of thing again.
Canny Paddlers are organising a symposium that we're going to be doing in May, the 22nd to the 25th. It'll be up in Northumberland, not here, further up in Northumberland, and we'd really look forward to people coming back, and we hope to be doing some Greenland paddling at that event, along with lots of other things that people should enjoy.